Good evening and good day. Whatever time it is for you, I'm grateful that you're here. I'm thankful to spend some time with you. If you've been waiting in the chat, thank you so much. It's so nice to have your company. My name's Tara. I am your hostess this evening. And tonight, oh, I forgot to say Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everyone. Tonight, we're talking about goals for 2024, recovery topics. If there's anything in your recovery that you want to talk about, I welcome you to bring it up here tonight. I want to welcome you and invite you to type your 2024 goals into the chat. Maybe you view it as a resolution, maybe you view it as a goal. However it is that you look at it, I'm going to share mine with you to get the ball rolling. And then I would love to hear what y'all's goals are for this year. I hope you had fun last night. I hope everybody had a safe, happy holiday. I did. I enjoyed it very much on a live stream last night over at Kimmy's Playhouse and Uppers Recovery. They had a joint New Year's party. It was clean and sober, and I'm so thankful that it was. It was so nice to be with a group of like-minded people. So shout out to Kimmy's Playhouse and Uppers Recovery. If you haven't checked out their channels, I highly recommend them. And if you're just joining, welcome. We are talking about goals this Happy New Year 2024. Kimmy's Playhouse, Kimmy in the house. I was just plugging, and Slow-Mo, I was just plugging y'all's channels. I had so much fun last night. Those games were lit, and I want to commend you on a job well done last night. Kimmy says, smash that like on your way in. Thank you, Kimmy. Thank you. I wish I could smash it for myself, but they don't give me that option. I never used to feel that way, but as I recover, I start to feel like, yeah, I'd smash that like for myself. Slow-Mo, happy 2024, friend. Happy 2024. I think y'all did great last night. Thank you so much for hosting that event. Kimmy and Slow-Mo had these great games where, well, there are a couple games that we played. I had such fun doing that, and I went on as a guest. You can watch the replay over at Kimmy's Playhouse or Uppers Recovery. I believe they're going to keep the replay up in perpetuity. So feel free to stop in, see what all the fuss is about. Okay, so Kimmy says, my goals are to take care of, or to make self-care more of a priority. That is a great goal to have, Kimmy. I love that goal. I'm sure you're not alone in that. That's actually not one that I put on my list, but if I can borrow that from you, I think self-care is a great thing to be paying attention to in 2024. I also just remembered that I didn't put something on my list that I meant to earlier today. So I'm just jotting it down, and I will definitely divulge what that is. If you're just coming in, happy 2024. Welcome, welcome. It's so nice to see you here. We are talking about goals this evening. If you've got goals or resolutions or whatever you want to call them for 2024, I'm going to be sharing my resolutions, my goals for 2024. Feel free to pop them in the chat. Other people have got the ball rolling, and we've got some good self-care going on. Rev in the house. I hope it's okay with you, Rev, that I just call you Rev. I know it's Rev Rashim. I really like calling you Rev. And Happy New Year to you too, Rev. Kimmy had fun at the party that she hosted last night. Yes, I thought it was very, very well done. Thank you for carving the time out to do that. Kimmy, you can like your own videos. You know what? When I launch a video, sometimes I remember, and most of the time I don't remember. But in the live streams, I can't like my own video. But I got to remember to do that, like all the time when I release a video. Thanks for that, Kimmy. Kimmy does it. Slow-Mo had a good time last night. Ben in the house. Hey, Ben, nice to see you. Nice to see you. We're talking about goals this evening. So what goals have you made for yourself in 2024? Or what resolutions made in 2024? Yes, I can call him Rev. Thank you so much, Rev. Charles in the house. Charles says, Happy New Year's just came in. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here, Charles. Hope everyone is looking forward to a better 2024. Mine has not started out too well yet. Well, the good news, Charles, I've got good news for you, is that today is just one day in the grand scheme of things. I'm wondering if you've got anything to look forward to this year. So I'm about to share some of the things that I'm looking forward to diving into. Praveen in the house. Hey, Praveen, nice to see you. Charles, my heart goes out to you. I know that sometimes we have rough days. We all have rough days. You're definitely not alone in that, but I'm so glad you're here. I hope that this meeting, this time together brings you some solace, maybe a little break from whatever's going on. If you care to share what's going on, we've got a bunch of people in here who are maybe available and capable of offering support. I'm definitely available and capable of offering support to you. So feel free to tell us more if you want. If you want to hang out and not divulge, then I support that 100% too. I'm just happy you're here, Charles. Praveen says, Happy New Year. Worked yesterday and this morning. Have nothing on my plate tomorrow and completely free. One of my resolutions is to travel to Canada. Right on. Canada is beautiful. Love it. Love it. We've got a few people, well, one person in particular from Canada that frequents these meetings. She's a moderator of mine. I hope it's okay that I divulge that she's from Canada, but she's been public with it before. So, okay, I want to get into some of my goals for 2024 before I get too lost in the comments. And for those of you who this is not your first time here, or maybe we've been talking, we've been interacting in other groups and things like that, you probably already know some of this, but some of it is new right out of my head from today. So it will be news to you. But I think that when we share our goals, what we're working towards, it can help hold us accountable. So everyone who's in here is going to hear exactly what my goals are for this year. And now that I've got them written down in a list form, I will be able to tick them off the list as I progress throughout the year. I'm not going to be hard on myself, right? I wanted to make these into SMART goals. At the same time, I don't want to overload myself and have like such a rigid schedule. Plus, I've got a lot of change coming around the bend. So I'll talk more about how I might structure these things as we go along through this discussion. But I don't want to make it all about myself either. I just want to get the ball rolling, maybe plant some seeds. Maybe this discussion will help you think of a couple things you want to work on this year. So the biggest thing on my list this year, and if you're just coming in, hello, welcome in. We are talking about goals for 2024. And some people have shared some goals. My first goal that I want to talk about here is meaning and purpose in work. Some of you know that I have been through a very challenging situation with my work life. In 2020, I was exploited for labor. And since I've started collecting money, so this is good news on the project that I completed in 2020, but I've spent 2 years not receiving a dime for the work that I completed in 2020. So it's what is called work-related trauma. And it's been very, very difficult for me to engage with a boss or someone that I report to. So what I have been doing for the past couple of years, ever since that happened and I left the situation, which that's a whole story, like what happened after that, which if we run out of goal talk, maybe I'll go into this story, but it might have to wait for another time because it's not really goal related. Ever since I left that situation, I have not been able to get a normal job. I've not wanted to report to a boss. I've been avoiding it at all cost. And so for me, getting integrated back into the workforce for me has been incredibly overwhelming, at times seemingly impossible. And I've been delivering for Instacart for the past couple of years. Now, it worked really well for me for a period of time. Quite frankly, I'm really burnt out on Instacart. It gave me flexibility. It allowed me to be my own boss. And in terms of the flexibility, I was able to write my own schedule. And if I was feeling good one day, I'd ride that wave and go make some money. If I was feeling super depressed, some of you know, if not all of you know, that I struggled with serious depression in my past, and that I'm on the upswing. I'm in recovery for both substance misuse and mental health conditions, including depression and PTSD. Well, now I spent the majority of 2023 really focusing on my mental health. And I feel going into 2024, not only that I'm ready, but it's so interesting. Like, I'm sure y'all have heard the phrase, and it's kind of loosely related, but it popped in my head. I'm sure you've all heard the phrase, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And maybe it's like I said, loosely related to me going back to work. I've been volunteering for this agency for almost a year now, locally where I live. And just not this past Thursday, but the Thursday before that, on the winter solstice, they offered me a job, which they've done before. It's not the first time they've offered me a job, but I actually felt excited to want to take it. Like, I could maybe get that meaning and purpose with the peer support role, which is exactly what I've been studying the past several months and wanting to dip my toe in the water to see if I like it. So, work is on my list. I'm off to a good start to be able to achieve meaning and purpose in life, just because I've set myself up in 2023 for it. So, I've got more that I want to share, but I want to get to your comments and then we'll get to more of my goals. Rev says, one of my goals is to continue to work on my mental health and to continue to understand autism and how to use it as a superpower. Rev, that is such a great goal to have. I love that. I'm in the same boat when it comes to my mental health recovery. And I think it's wonderful that you're prioritizing mental health. You're not alone in that. Whether or not we know it, I think prioritizing mental health, which Kimmy said self-care is a goal of hers for 2024, and I would put that into the mental health bucket as well. And then to continue to understand autism and how to use it as a superpower. What a wonderful thing, Rev. Is there someone that you know that has autism or is on the spectrum? Is it something that you discovered about yourself? Praveen says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Praveen. I'm glad you're here. Have nothing on my plate. Tomorrow is completely free. One of my resolutions is to travel to Canada. I think I read that one already. But Praveen, I think that's a wonderful resolution. It's concrete, it's something that's tangible. And I hope you make it to Canada. Rev says to continue. Oh, I read that already. Um, yeah, Kimmy, good point. Autism is a superpower. I agree with that. I think once we so I've heard that our greatest strengths are always tied to our greatest weakness. And I think that if we can understand what our quote unquote, um, trying to figure out how to say this. So, if we can understand ourselves in terms of maybe how the world defines us, we can dig into our psychology and pull out the positive aspects of that. So, I love that you are digging into a condition, whether it's you or someone you know, to be able to nurture the positive aspects of what that psychology means or what that psychology has to offer. Kimmy says, yes, meaning and purpose is so important, but I also feel it's rare. I'm so blessed to have a job that truly makes me feel valued and that brings me joy. Right, Kimmy, you are truly blessed. And I love hearing you talk about how happy you are with the work that you do and how you have a sense of belonging and meaning and purpose with that work. That is exactly what I am going for in 2024. And I have faith, like, I believe that because of the work that I did in 2023, it has set me up to follow your lead, Kimmy, and to land into a role that is not only perfect for me, but that brings me meaning and purpose. Something we study in peer support specialist training is meaning and purpose and its role in recovery. I think that meaning and purpose can come in a lot of forms. It doesn't have to be work related, but for me, after delivering for Instacart for such a extended period of time, like almost 2 years, got to a point where it's just not scratching meaning and purpose itch for me. It did at one point, but in order to move forward with my life and my career and be stoked on it, which is like, I deserve that. I believe that. And everybody here deserves that too. I really need to focus on not just integrating myself back into the workforce, but doing it in a way that breeds meaning and purpose. Marky Rizzo in the house. Hey, Marky, nice to see you. Welcome in. Welcome in. We're just talking about goals for 2024. I'm really interested to hear if you've set any resolutions, any goals. So far, the goal that I've shared is meaning and purpose in the work that I do. And I've got several more here on my list. Kimmy actually helped me add one to my list. So, what are your goals for 2024 or resolutions? Or feel free to share that you don't have any and you don't want any. That's cool with me too. Ben, need to reboot. Be right back. Okay, Ben, I hope that goes well for you. Thanks for sharing that with us. Everybody needs a reboot sometimes. I actually have a reboot story. I want to get through some of these comments. Heather in the house. Hey, Heather, nice to see you. Happy New Year's. It was so nice to see you and Kimmy and Slow-Mo's party that they hosted last night. Thanks for coming, Heather. And I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. If you feel like you want to tell us more about what's going on for you today, please feel free. If you want to ghost listen, please feel free. What did Heather get voted for? She got voted for a couple, one or two things last night. I can't remember what they were though. Mike in the house. Hey, Mike, nice to see you. I am so glad you're here, friend. It's always nice to see you in the comments. I hope you got some good sleep too last night, Mike. I did. I got some really good sleep last night. Solid. Heather, all the love you're getting in the comments. We're so glad you're here, Heather. Yeah, right, Kimmy. Kimmy says, I'm so glad you were there, Heather. I'm glad we didn't run you off with our silly humor and games. Yeah, this crowd can get a little wild sometimes. So it was nice to have Heather's company there last night. I can only imagine what that game was like from her perspective since she's just kind of getting acquainted with people. It must have been pretty funny to hear some of those questions and see the interactions between. Yeah, Heather says, all good, Kimmy, much better than isolating. I absolutely agree with that. Nothing makes it more difficult to get through a drinking kind of holiday or drug using kind of holiday like New Year's. Nothing makes it harder than isolating. Trying to hunker down and do it by ourselves. I've done it several years, although I was using for a few of those years towards the end of my addiction. I was just spending the holidays by myself, self medicating. And the first few years of my sobriety, I spent the holidays in shelters and was not surrounded by a recovery community in the place where I lived. So it was really nice. I think last night was the first New Year's in a while that well, it's definitely the first New Year's that I spent clean and sober in the company of other people who were also in recovery and abstaining. For the evening, that was a real gift. So thanks again, Uppers Recovery and Kimmy's Playhouse for hosting that event. Feel free, Kimmy and Slow-Mo, to post links to your channels. Uh, Maybe Kimmy wants to post Uppers Recovery and Uppers Recovery wants to, or however you want to do it. Any moderator too. It doesn't have to be Kimmy and Mo, but I just want people to um, have a link to your channel if they want to find it. Ben says, what a healthy view. I think, Ben, if I'm not mistaken, trying to go back and look at. Ben, you're back. Okay, so you rebooted. It looks like you're back, Ben. How did you reboot, Ben? I'm interested to hear what your process is for rebooting. Kimmy, I also tend to isolate sometimes, but I've been really trying not to. Kimmy, I think you're doing a great job, love. I have seen exactly what you're talking about just as a friend over the past little period of time here that you were tempted to isolate, but it seems like you're integrating yourself back into your support community pretty well. And I see a difference in you. So I'm so happy that you're working your way back towards community and connection. Just making a note here. Thank you for bearing with me. Michelle and Reese in the house. Hey, Michelle and Reese, I'm so glad you're here. Happy 2020. We're talking about goals. I have not even made a dent in my goals list, but I want to offer you a space to think about your goals, share your goals. I haven't said any, no pressure at all, but maybe you want to share what your intention is for 2024, or just simply say you don't have an intention. If you're struggling with something in life and you want to share about that, this is a safe space to do it. There's a lot of support here for you. Oh, and maybe I should read her comment before I start. She did exactly what I just said, and I didn't even get to her comment. So, okay, Michelle and Reese says, I want to start running again. I was injured for most of the last year, and this wasn't good for my physical or mental health. Right on, Michelle. Running is such a great activity for the body. I have tried to run. I've tried to like running before. I think it takes a special kind of person to do that regularly. I like walking. I'm a walker. I definitely feel the benefits when I do run. I just like walking. It's way easier for me to muster up the motivation to walk. So I hope that you get to running again. And if you do, I want to hear about it. And definitely exercise is good for the mental and physical health, 100%. Right on. Mo posted, so Slow Mo posted a link to Kimmy's Playhouse. Kimmy posted a link to Upper's Recovery. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate you both. Awake Ned by the Looking Glass reflection in the house. Hey, Awake Ned, nice to see you. Says, hey girl, I can't stay, but had to pop on and say hello. Gonna share your channel real quick if you don't mind. I think that would be great, Awake Ned. I'm so happy that you popped in today. It's nice to see you. And thank you for sharing. Tala in the house. Hey, Tala, welcome in, welcome in. We are talking about goals. If you're just joining us, 2024 goals. I have started to share mine. Some people in the comments section are sharing what their goals are for 2024. So feel free to let us know what you're working on in 2024 in terms of your personal life, your recovery, whatever it is that you fancy. If you are not sure what your goals are, that's cool too. You can let us know that you don't have any or that you're working on figuring out what they are. I love hearing what y'all are going through. And Kimmy just posted a link to Kingdom Within's channel too. I'm so glad you did that, Kimmy. Thank you so much for being an awesome mod. And Kingdom Within, if you're into Bible scripture and seeking the truth, Kingdom Within has a fantastic YouTube channel that talks about this exact thing. No pressure to go over there. This channel is it's not a religious channel, although I do consider myself spiritual. If you're seeking that type of thing, Kingdom Within has a great channel, and I would recommend you go check that out if you're into that. Okay, so Kimmy says, another goal I have is to try to have healthier relationships, not specifically romantic, just in general. What a great goal, Kimmy. And actually, I will share one of mine because it's very closely connected. Did I even write it? Oh yeah, I did write it down. So similar to Kimmy, one of my goals that I jotted down, which I touched on this when I went on as a guest on Kimmy and Slow-Mo's party last night that they hosted on their channels, that one of my goals for 2024 is to build a stronger, more solid support system. I'm blessed and have a good support system in place currently. Just like everything, though, it could be better. I got a couple of people who are rock solid. They're there for me. Not always available, though, and it's no foul on them. They're not doing anything. It's just, every person can't be available all the time. Like, I've got to take a shower sometimes. I can't be available all the time, and that's the case with everyone. So I think the more people I can connect with and establish a healthy give and take relationship. And I think this is really important because I was noticing upon reflection of the past year that I have had a tendency to pour my energy into people who were not able to pour back into me. And I plan on continue doing that in 2024. There's nothing wrong with offering support to people. It's just that not everyone has the capability, the capacity, if you will, to be able to offer support in return. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's okay. We're all at different places in our journey. Sometimes I don't have the capacity to offer support because I need to focus on self-care and processing some things, however I process it, whether it be with my journal or my therapist. That's a whole different issue. But my point, just like Kimmy was saying, that her goal is to have healthier relationships, I agree with that. I would like to build up my support system so that not only do I have a group of people that I'm offering support to, but that I have a group of people, maybe separate, maybe there's overlap, um, but to build mutually beneficial relationships. And I think that's a very important component. Something that my therapist and I have been talking about is having mutually beneficial relationships where it's like you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Um, I'll give you support today. Maybe you'll give me support tomorrow. And no expectations, I think, on people is a good policy to have when first getting to know them. But over time, I think we know who our people are. Like I know I've got a couple of people who my friend said the last night, actually we were talking and she's like, "You're my ride or die boo." And I was like, I just love that. I need more people like that who it's like come rain or shine, I will be there for you. And I know that come rain or shine, you will be there for me. What a beautiful thing to create in 2024. So, Kimmy, I'm right there with you. I would also like to have healthy, strong, reciprocal relationships in 2024. Praveen says, one of my goals is to become full time at Wegmans so I can work 40 hours a week. That is a very specific goal. I think it's smart, actually. Have you heard of SMART goals, Praveen? We've talked about it here before on the channel. I think there's many ways to create solid goals. I think this goal is pretty solid. It's specific, it's measurable. You're working 40 hours a week at Wegmans, it's achievable, it's realistic, which I might be getting those wrong because those two things are so similar. I keep forgetting to look up what the A and the R mean. If anybody has the ability to look up the A and the R, the T is timeliness. So I guess I get well, but we're talking about 2024. So in terms of achieving that this year, as long as we put that it's in 2024, that's a SMART goal right there, Praveen. And I have a feeling that you can accomplish this. Thanks for sharing. Charles, that hits a nerve, finding happiness. We'll be searching for that in 2024. Charles, that is a very big deal. I think we can probably all relate to this one. Happiness is one of those things that's kind of hard to define, I think, for the whole. It takes an individual, I think, to define what happiness is for them. So I would be curious, Charles, to hear what happiness means to you. And perhaps you don't have an answer to that. For me, I think achieving all of these goals that are on my list, I think I think that it would bring me joy achieving them, but I think the joy actually comes in the journey. That's my perspective, is that I can achieve all of these things, but on the other side of me achieving all these things, there's going to be a whole other list of things that I want to accomplish or have or do. So I think happiness is in the journey. Kimmy has the list at home. She can't remember who voted for what. Oh, Kimmy, I forgot that you're at work right now. Thanks for stopping in while you're working, Kimmy. That means a lot to me. I hope I don't get you. Wait, let me rephrase that. I hope that it's convenient enough for you to listen while you're at work because it's really nice to have you here. Heather. Thanks for being a sober criminal. So that's a comment from last night. I think, what was the question? I can't remember what the question was. Who's the most likely to get, what was the question? I can't remember. I'm going to scroll to the bottom to see if someone can remember what that question was about being a criminal. Maddie Torrance in the house. Hey, Maddie. I love seeing that you're my biggest fan. Comments, that's such a thoughtful thing to say. I'm glad you're here. Maddie, we are talking about goals for 2024. I have shared a couple of the several goals that I have written down, and in the comment section, people are sharing their goals. So I love hearing about what you have planned for 2024. So feel free to share. If there's something unrelated that you're going through that you need support with, feel free to share that too. Oh, right. Kimmy says committing. Okay, who is the most likely to commit a crime sober? And I think it was a tie. Wasn't it a four-way tie on that one? But I was in that four-way tie. I hope I don't ever commit a sober crime. Mike says, so thrown off for R. What do you mean by that, Mike? What is going on with the comments? What's going on with the comments, Mike? Maybe hold on. I think I might have missed something. Oh, you know what? I have top. I wish I could just have live chat on all the time. Tala, you're welcome for the shout out, friend. I appreciate all the shout outs that you give to me too. Kimmy says I'm currently in a very lovey-dovey mood. That's awesome, Kimmy. That's a good mood to be in. Did anything strike that, or is it just hit you? The sober criminal comment made me chuckle. Heather, you guys are great. Much love. I totally agree with you, Heather. I feel really blessed to have this community, on the ability to sit here with y'all on Mondays and sometimes Wednesdays. The past month, it's been Wednesdays too. Wednesdays aren't set in stone, but every Monday I'm here and plan on continuing that. I'm really enjoying it. Kimmy says, well, we all know where we stand now, apparently. Yeah, that game really shed some light on what people, on people's perspectives of us. That was really fun. If you're just coming in, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. We are talking about goals for 2024. I've shared a couple of mine. The comments section is lit with resolutions and goals for 2024. So feel free to share what you're going through in terms of setting goals for yourself. If there's something unrelated that you want to talk about in terms of recovery, really anything is welcome. We're happy to offer you support and we're glad you're here. Praveen is glad to be participating in the live stream this evening. I'm so glad you're here, Praveen, and that goes to everyone. Kimmy, straddle the like button, please. Yeah, smash that like. I appreciate that. I never remember to say that, so I love it when my mods or anybody reminds people, including myself. You're welcome, Kimmy. I don't remember what that was in response to, but you are most welcome. Joggling. Kimmy says, well, I do something called joggling, a healthy mix of walking and jogging. I dig that. Maybe I could do a healthy balance of walking and joggling. I mean, jogging, which is joggling. Ben, oh sorry, just had to reboot my computer. It was acting flaky, and sadly, calling it names didn't help. Yeah, profanity usually. Well, actually, you know what? There was a study done. Some of y'all have probably heard of this. It was a study where there were ice baths, and there were two groups: control group who didn't have access to an ice bath, and then the test group who had access to an ice bath. And the test group was able to dip their hands in, or I'm sorry, I'm mixing it up. Both groups had access to the ice bath. Reverse. Bear with me on this Happy New Year's. So both groups had access to an ice bath. They were both required to submerge their hands into the ice bath for a period of time. One group was allowed to use profanity and say whatever they wanted, whereas the other group was not able to use profanity. So we've got a control group not able to use profanity, and the test group able to say whatever the heck they want. The data showed that the group that had the ability to use profanity reported a lower amount of pain, which was self reported, and that the group who did not have the ability to use profanity experienced more pain. So, Ben, your comment made me think, calling it names didn't help, but it might have helped you deal with the frustration a little bit better. Now, I'm not saying okay, so profanity is okay to use all the time. Like there's a time and a place, right? And I think there's certain things that are acceptable to say and certain things that would be off color, inappropriate. But I just think that's an interesting study. Marky says, I want to have my license, get my business going, and quit my job. Any two of those, and I'd be satisfied. Marky, you're on the track. You're right on track for both of these. So I just want to offer you some encouragement, tell you you're doing a great job, and want you to know that I'm cheering for you along the way. I can't wait to hear about how you pass that test, friend. Lord Kiss Freak in the house. Hey, Lord Kiss Freak. Nice to see you, friend. I'm glad you're here. We're just talking about goals for 2024. I've shared a couple of mine. The comments are lit with resolutions and goals. So feel free to share what you're working on, or if you've got something else you need support with, we're here for you. Mike, what's going on, friend? I'm confused by what are you seeing? What are you experiencing, Mike? KG Smith in the house. Hey, KG, nice to see you. Happy 2024, friend. Lord Kiss Freak. Mike, I hope you have a good night too. I hope you have a good night too if you have to mosey on out of here. But if you're still here, what's up, man? I looked up some more idioms, and I can't remember them off the top of my head, but I was enjoying looking at some more. I'd be interested if people, this is unrelated, but sometimes we need to shift gears a little bit. If you've got a favorite idiom, let me know what it is in the comments. If you don't know what an idiom is or you need a reminder, an idiom is a combination of words that together don't make sense like a piece of cake. It's a piece of cake. It's like that doesn't make sense. If someone didn't speak the English language, someone would have to explain what a piece of cake is. Like that's easy, if that's a piece of cake. Or I'm on the fence. Like, are you actually on the fence? No, that's an idiom. So Mike and I were talking about idioms the other night, and I'd be interested to hear if you've got any clever idioms. Once in a blue moon. Yep, once in a blue moon. That's a good one. Realist EDM in the house. Hey, Realist, nice to see you. Glad you're here. We're talking about goals. What's your goals for 2024? If you need support with something else, feel free to share it and we will support you the best you can. I'm wondering what's going on with Mike because I feel like something happened that I'm not aware of. Okay, so Mike said, I'm right up here at live and not seeing any of these comments that you're talking about. I think probably, Mike, because I was going back and forth between the live comments and the past comments. Sorry, I do the best I can to stay caught up, but sometimes I get lost, especially when I start telling stories. Kevin, kicking addiction in the house. Kevin can relate to this getting behind in the comments. Happy 2024, Kevin. We are talking about goals this evening. I've shared a couple of goals that I have for myself. In the comments, we're talking about goals. So I'd be interested, Kevin, what are your goals for 2024? Do you have any? If you don't or you don't want to share it, I get that too. No pressure. Slow-mo said earlier, very thankful for this community. If I didn't have you guys, I have a feeling I'd be throwing my recovery down the toilet on the first day of 2024. Much love, everyone. Slow-mo, you're doing a great job, friend. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you still are in recovery, which, does anybody ever really get out of recovery? I don't think so. I think once we start the journey, we can take a step back, but you're on the path, friend, and we're here with you. And get you a new sexy truck, Marky. Yeah, Marky wants a new truck in 2024. Praveen's having a good first day of 2024. Right on, Praveen. What was so good about it? AwakeNet, I think AwakeNet had to go, but says empowerment of self gotta of self. Okay, empowerment of self. Gotta love me again so my girls can love themselves as well. That is very insightful of AwakeNet. Children pick up on everything, especially things like that, self-love. And if their parents don't do it, then they've got to, I think it makes it that much more challenging to learn later in life, when we have to teach ourselves how to self-love if we didn't see it modeled. So rock on, AwakeNed. Keep up that hard work, teaching your girls how to love themselves. Okay, Tala says, I've got 3 so far. 1, more Bible reading. 2, more prayer. 3, fitness and health. Those are really great things to focus on. And you summed up all of my goals in like 3 things. So some of you know, this will be news to some of you, that Slow-mo over at, well, I don't think he's doing it on Uppers Recovery, but Slow-mo is the Uppers Recovery dude. His YouTube channel is Uppers Recovery, and he is hosting a Bible study in 2024. I do believe that the goal is to get through the entire Bible, which I think is a hefty goal for 2024, but it's doable. I think I saw a stat where it's doable if you spend 15 minutes a day for a year, you can get through the entire Bible. So I'll be interested to see how that's structured. I have always wanted to read the Bible through. I'm not religious. This is not a religious channel, but I am looking forward to participating in the um, reading the Bible in 1 year with slow mo. So, right on, Kingdom Within. Thanks for sharing your goals. I'm actually going to write that one on my list because that's something I want to hold myself to. Thanks, Tala. Oh, WakeNed said they'll be right back. Right on, AwakeNed. If you're here, I'm so glad you are. Kimmy says, that's amazing, Liz. I really love that, and it's important. I'm not sure how to love myself. That's an interesting statement, Kimmy. I think my perspective, which I can only speak from my perspective, obviously, is that such a personal thing, what it means to love oneself. You're on the journey, Kimmy. You're doing the things, you're working with a therapist. Me too. Me too. And I think one day for me, self-love can look so different than it might look a couple days down the road, or self-love for me in 2023 was so different than self-love in 2018. So different. Heather, I would like to walk more and stay clear, show up for school, baby steps, then get a wetsuit and go back to the ocean. Heather, I'll be right there with you when you get that suit, friend. These are all realistic goals too, Heather. You're not talking about winning the lottery or something. These are all things that now that you're working on improving your mental health, that you'll likely be able to accomplish soon. Like 2024 is a realistic time frame for both of us. Kimmy, sometimes I have to borrow other people's love and strength until I can find my own. I think I can relate to this 100%. That's what friends are for. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. AA says, thank God we're not all crazy on the same day. That was one of my favorite sayings from AA. Rachel in the house. Hey, Rachel. Happy, I almost said happy Hanukkah. Rachel, it's nice to see you as always. I'm so glad you're here. Marky Rizzo, is your stream freezing too? Kimmy says, not now, but it was earlier. Let me know in the comments if you are seeing the stream now or not. You're welcome, Heather. Praveen, you're almost at 200 subscribers. Congratulations. Thanks, Praveen. It's a really fun journey. I'm really enjoying the ride. Thank you. Kevin, I'm really excited to my fellow YouTube content creators to continue killing it. And it's been awesome to be a part of and witness. Really proud of you guys for taking a chance on this YouTube thing. Kevin, I can't even tell you how psyched I am that I started doing this. I am having so much fun with it. And I have this feeling that I'm going to continue to grow and to enjoy the ride, which like I shared earlier, I think that's the whole point, is just to enjoy the journey. I was talking with a couple people a few weeks ago about how if you've got point A and point B, you can go from point A to point B and you'll never be satisfied when you get to point B. There's always something on the other side of point B. So we might as well enjoy the journey from A to B, being that there's always going to be something on the other side. So thanks, Kevin. I appreciate you sharing that. And it is a true pleasure and an honor to be able to watch you and your journey and for you to come here and support me. And that goes for everybody. I so appreciate every single one of you. I couldn't do it without you. Yeah, Kimmy's right. Kevin, you were the inspiration for many of us to do that. I've wanted to do this for so long, but I've never had the guts. Rachel in the house. I'm so glad you're here, Rach. Yeah, Kimmy's right, Kevin. You are a great inspiration for more reasons than just, help. Well, not just, I don't mean to minimize what you do because you provide a really valuable service. If y'all aren't familiar with Kickin' Addictions channel, if one of my mods could post a link to Kevin's channel, I would be so grateful. It would be really helpful to me. Kevin has a fantastic meeting on Wednesdays. If you're interested, his main focus is on opioid misuse disorder, opioid withdrawal medications, Suboxone, Sublocade, that kind of content. But he also talks about alcohol at times. He's had me on as a guest, and I talked about my marijuana and alcohol recovery journey amongst some other things that I have struggled with, but not to the extent that I struggled with alcohol and marijuana. So Kimmy just posted a link to Kevin's channel. Thank you for that, Kimmy. If you're interested in kicking it with Kickin' Addiction on Wednesdays, he streams at 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and then I piggyback on the heels of his stream at usually sometime around this same time, like usually sometime between 4:15 and 4:45 I go on, but I don't schedule that stream because I never know when Kevin's going to end. So he's been calling it a piggyback stream, and I like that phrase. Praveen says, I was wondering how long you've been a subscriber to Timothy Ward's channel. He's helped me get through an extremely challenging time in early 2022. Praveen, actually, Kevin over at Kickin' Addiction referred me over to Timothy Ward's channel. When did that happen? It was a few months ago, maybe 3 or 4 months ago. Kevin mentioned his channel, and I checked it out, and I really like the vibe over there. I think he's good people. And I, like you, I enjoy listening to what he has to say. So I know I missed a bunch of comments, and I am going to try my best to go back and get to them, especially if they were goal related. But I want to keep moving. We're like an hour in and I've only shared 2 goals with you so far. So another goal that I have on my list for 2024 is to move into a new place for housing. I have been at this place for a year now, just a little bit over a year. And now I have the ability to move somewhere else. So you might be seeing me with, I don't know, maybe it'll be a similar background, but you might be seeing me in a new environment here within the next couple of months. But a goal of mine in 2024 is to move into either a studio or 1 bedroom, which I'm in a small studio right now, but I would so love to move into a bigger place. Yeah, kick in. Kimmy posted a link. I'm glad that she did. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. Yeah, Kimmy says, Rachel and Kevin, we were so hoping you'd play Who's Most Likely with us last night. Yeah, that was a really fun game. And I definitely could see myself voting for both y'all on some of those topics. We missed you last night. I hope y'all had a good night. Well, I talked with Rachel a little bit. Rachel was my New Year's kiss last night. Platonic. She's married. We're both straight, but um, that was nice to ring in the New Year's with you, Rachel. Kevin, I hope you had a good, safe night, that you made some money. Yeah, it was about 4 months ago. Yep. Kevin, yep. Okay, so Slow Mo needs some prayer. Yeah, he's been here tonight. I hope that he's all right. Anne Marie Bliss is in the house. She says, "I'm late, but hello everyone." Hello, Anne Marie Bliss. Happy New Year. Happy 2024, friend. I am curious about your resolutions and goals for this new year. If you feel like sharing them with us, please feel free. If there's something else going on, please let us know what's going on so we can support you. Yeah, I'll be thinking about slow mo. I'm going back to see if I missed anything. Bear with me. Ooh, we're talking about a debate. Maddie Torrance. There was a four-way tie. Oh, I missed a lot. Bear with me. Maddie says, I will become a hit songwriter and make a lot of money and finally have women pay attention to me. You're a big dreamer, Maddie. That I think that shows that your creative personality and creativity is a strength. Praveen, I can relate to having to tune things out. I hope you find some peace, friend, if you're still listening. Slow mo, I commit the crime of looking good, yo. Yes, you do. I hope you're okay, Slow Mo, wherever you're at, Morrison. I really value having you here in this community. Miss Heather, I just steal hearts. Okay, I'm going back towards to see what's popping in the live comments. So Tala said he's strong and 11 days off subs. So let's pray that he continues to stay off. The timing is really similar to Mike. I hope Mike is not too mad at me for getting behind in the comments. Anne Marie Bliss, I'm so tired. I just want to listen for a while. That's totally cool, Anne Marie. I'm so glad you're here and feel free to listen. I try to make it kind of like a video podcast. Sometimes there's some dead silence, but I do my best to try and make it listener friendly for the people who want to listen. I'm just scrolling back into the comments. Okay, so Kevin's out working that Uber grind. Man, I remember those days. Like, I didn't do Lyft for very long. I just didn't like it. The possibility, like living with the possibility that somebody could get sick in the back of my car at any time was not something that I was okay with. As soon as that happened, that was one of the last rides that I ever gave, and I think I've shared that with you before. I hope you find your AirPods too, Praveen. Kevin, you're such a positive force in this community, and I really want to express some more gratitude for you. Kevin says, much love to you all. I'm very excited to see you all crush your 2024 goals. Oh, that's one more thing. So that, did I put this? Yeah, I put this on my list. And Kevin, if you're still here, it's perfect for you to hear this, that I am happy to be participating in a 2024 no alcohol challenge that is being hosted by Kick and Addiction. So if you haven't ever seen his channel, again, highly recommend. He's been a really inspirational force in my life. And there's a group of us who have taken on a year of sobriety, no drinking in 2024. I'm happy to participate. It brings me great pleasure to know that I will be sober one more year. I'm coming up on 3 years clean and sober on April 2nd of 2024, so just about 3 months out. So it's really exciting to me to know that I'll make it probably until year number 4 for me if I participate in this no alcohol challenge. So Kevin, thanks for giving me a little push to stay sober one more year. Praveen purchased some calendars from Big Lots. That's a good tool to have for 2024. I'm glad you're thinking about goals kicking. That's a wonderful thing to be thinking of. Not that we need to let our lives, I personally think sometimes goals can be too overwhelming, can make me feel like a failure. But I think if they're smart, if they're specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely in terms of defining what it is that we're trying to achieve, then setting ourselves up for some success. Sounds like a good time to me. I'm kind of a nerd though. Marky just wants a cup of coffee in the big time. That's a good goal to have. Slow-mo in the house. Hey, Slow-mo, I'm so glad to see you. Was a little, based on some comments that were coming up, I was a little concerned about you, I'll be honest. So Slow-mo says, thank you, Kingdom Within, bro. Just prayed, feeling more peace. Appreciate all the love and support from everyone. I know now I must pray without ceasing to get through this portion of the war. He's 15 days off subs. Something you said in your comment, Slow-mo, really stuck out to me, and it's a goal that I wrote down for myself. So I'll share another goal, and that is to incorporate more meditation and prayer into my life. For those of you that are familiar with the 12-step systems, I've worked the 12 steps a few times. If you're familiar with it, you know that steps 10 through 12 are maintenance steps, and step 11 is sought through prayer and meditation to achieve conscious contact, or to improve, I'm sorry, sought through prayer and meditation to improve conscious contact with God as we understood him. I love that step for so many reasons. I really appreciate that the steps give us the freedom to pick our own higher power as we understand him. It doesn't push any kind of religion or perspective on us, and I really appreciate that. The focus of step 11 is prayer and meditation. which is something that I've been doing, but not as much as I would like. And so in 2024, I would like to get back to a daily meditation practice, which I have been doing the past few days, and it's felt really nice. And also prayer, whatever that looks like for you. And I'm certainly not trying to push my beliefs on you. This is not a religious channel. I just think for me, it would be helpful to get back to prayer and meditation as a part of my daily practice. Slow mo, I'm glad that prayer helped you, friend. Kevin says, "Oh yeah, I'll post up video tomorrow to get everyone in on the 2024 No Alky Challenge. Right on, Kevin. I will be there with bells on, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed." Heather, should I share what brought me to the live since I'm new? Absolutely, Heather. Please share anything that you want to with us. We're happy to hear from you. And now a few people are familiar with your name, and and it's great to get to know people better. If you're just coming in, welcome back. My name's Tara. We are talking about goals this evening for 2024. If you've got some, feel free to share them. We've got a lot of people who have shared goals in the comments. So if you want some inspiration, feel free to check it out. So far, the goals that I've shared, which I'm not done yet, the goals that I've shared are improve my support system. Uh, I won't go into detail because I already went into detail with it. Um, what else did I share already? I shared the Bible study. Um, I shared the 2024 No Alcohol Challenge. I shared more prayer and meditation. I shared that I added self care to my list, housing, work. I got a lot of goals, y'all. I got a lot of work to do this year. I've got really only one more goal. Maybe two. I could make it into two. Let me get to the comments and then we'll get back to that. Heather says, I have had 7 years now. Sorry, mess up. I had 7 years. Now I'm on days and invited by Tara. Support keeps me clear. Heather, I think it's awesome that you feel safe enough to share that with us. You are in such good company. There are multiple people who are at the day's point uh, in their journey. So you're definitely not alone. It might look different for different people, different drugs of choice. Some people are coming off of mental health medication, withdrawal medication, kratom. We're all at different phases, and we're all here to support each other on our own journeys. So thank you for sharing what you're going through. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad that you accepted my invite. Heather's drug of choice is alcohol. How many days do you have, Heather? Have you been counting or no? Either way, you've got my support. I'm just curious. Yeah, Marky says the most important day is today anyways, Miss Heather. Good point, Marky. Kimmy says, I plan on abstaining from many things in 2024. Not sure if alcohol will be one of them. That's okay, Kimmy. That's your journey. That's your path. It doesn't sound to me, not that it matters what I think, but it doesn't sound to me like alcohol has been a problem for you in the past. I wish that I could drink like a normal person. I can't, unfortunately. So whether you're doing the no alcohol challenge in 2024 because you might have drank too much or because you just want to try it for fun, I'm with you. And if you're not doing it, then you have my support 100%. I wish I could drink like you, honestly. Yeah, Kevin. So Kevin says, I was literally thinking earlier today that I must get my meditation back on track. Kevin, you know what? You listen to Dr. Andrew Huberman now, and something that Huberman talks about in his podcasts, or one podcast, he's got a meditation podcast, and he talks about how you don't have to meditate for 15 or 20 minutes or an hour. I know you meditate for a long period of time. The data says that even as little as 1 minute, which is what he does. I think he does it for like 3 minutes or 5 minutes a day. He says the data says that it's more important to have a consistent, regular practice than it is to have marathon sessions. So just planting that seed for what it's worth. I know you like to meditate for long periods of time, and I'm not trying to mess with that at all. I'm just saying that maybe like for me, if I'm trying to get back into my practice, like I've just been meditating for 2 or 3 minutes the past few days, but I notice a difference. So I think I would like to build up to back to my 14 or 15 minutes. That worked really well for me. So Kevin, I'd like to hear how your journey progresses and how long or what your practice looks like. I don't care about how long it is. That's not important to me. But I'm really interested in what other people's practices look like. Right, Kimmy. So Kimmy says if I have a few drinks with family or something, I'm good. I go to the bar, I could potentially make some bad choices. You're telling me. You're telling me it's been years, thank God, since I have been to a bar. I was just telling someone the other day, there's a bar right on the corner and there's a pool table right at the front door. So when I walk by it, which is regularly, every once in a while, it'll be like, yeah, just go in and play a game of pool. No big deal if you go have one drink like a normal person. But I can't open up that door. I would be in there all night. If I walked in there during the daytime, man, I used to live in Vegas and we would come out of the bars when the sun was up. So that's just how I drink. Mo, no spirits, but the Holy Spirit, 2024. Tala says, Tara, yeah, I'm the same way when it comes to alcohol. It's just not my thing, and some things aren't for everyone. Yeah, I'm cool with that. Well, I'm not. I'm not cool with it, actually. It's really hard sometimes for me to accept, step one, that I can't drink like a normal person. But I feel more healthy and balanced without it. I can't deny that. If you're just in, welcome or welcome back. We are talking about goals. Let me know who you are, what your goals are for 2024. I've shared a host of goals for this year, and we've got some good ones in the comments section. Kimmy says, I'm the kind of person that starts buying shots for everyone. Me too. And I lose all my social anxiety and fear of rejection when drinking. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. I love buying shots for people and I love accepting shots when I was in my drinking days. But my problem is that I don't have the capacity to say no when I drink or to say, maybe I've had too much or maybe I should stop. It's like they just keep coming and I don't close the valve. And then I end up blacking out, and that's not healthy behavior. I drive drunk, I black out. So if you don't know and you're just joining, I have been in recovery, clean and sober, since April 2nd of 2021, which means I'm 3 months away from celebrating 3 years in recovery. No slips, no judgment for people who take a step back from recovery, but I'm really proud to say that I've been able to pull it off without taking a step back and going back to drinking or using for almost 3 years now. And Kevin over at Kick and Addiction is hosting a no drinking 2024 challenge, which I will be participating in. So I'm happy to report that because of Kevin's challenge and because of my choice to abstain, it looks like I'll be making it to 2025, almost 4 years clean and sober. I cannot believe it. Heather says, I'm starting over with who I spend time with, so I've been isolating. I don't want to watch life go by on a bar stool. I'm right there with you, Heather. That ties into the goal that I was talking about earlier, building a strong support system. And I don't know that I touched on balance as much as I wanted to. For me, part of a strong support system, I know I talked about give and take. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. But I also want to talk about balance because that's something that has come up in my therapy sessions as of late, especially the last session. We talked a lot about how it's important for me to read the room, right? It's important for me to be aware of other people's needs and to meet them in the middle, to have their needs met. At the same time, to honor myself and make sure that I'm also having my needs met. And if I'm not, it's okay to take a step back and give myself some space to connect with other people who are capable and willing to meet my needs and meet me where I'm at. So that balance of meeting someone in the middle to meet their needs, to give them the support they need, while also at the same time having my needs met. It's something that was really highlighted in my last session was I don't have to bulldoze over people in order to have my needs met. It's better if I meet people in the middle. That really stuck out to me in my last session. Ben says, I feel like I can't say your whole name. I blush when I say the dust farter. So Ben says, I can drink, but I'm having to lay off working on my liver health. Oh, to lay off. Okay, so I can drink, but I'm having to lay off. Working on my liver health and alcohol is really hard on it. So I might do the year challenge. Ben, it would be great to have your company. I know Kevin would probably say the more the merrier. Although I've never heard him say that. Maybe that's just I'm putting my words in his mouth. I think he would agree, though, with the more, the merrier. Heather says, I'm starting over with who I spent. Oh, I said that already. Yeah, and Heather, I can relate to that. I spent the first couple of years in isolation, other than people in AA, if I haven't shared that with you. And so I'm having to restructure now that I've taken a step back from AA. It's just not working for me as well as it once did. And nothing against AA at all. It worked really well for me for a period of time. And I think there's a certain personality type, an era where it works really well for them. But I got to build my support system better in 2024. And I'm looking forward to it. Mo says, very proud of you, Tara. Mo, I don't know what that was in reference to, but I am proud of you too, friend. 11 days is no small feat. I'm glad that y'all feel like you can come here and share what you're going through because uh, connection is the opposite of addiction, right? So if we're isolating and we're not connecting with people, we're setting ourselves up to fall back into old behaviors. So I know when I isolate, it's because I'm not doing well. And what actually helps get me out of that is reaching out, telling people I'm struggling, being honest with what I'm going through helps me tremendously. KG says, I've been avoiding counseling, but I think it's time. KG, that's such an insightful comment. And I gotta say, I love talking about my therapist. She is my superhero. Someone asked me, I think it was last stream or the one before that, someone asked me who my role model is, and I picked my therapist. I'm truly blessed to have someone like her in my life. She's really helped me process a lot of things that were repressed. I didn't even know a lot of the stuff I've been carrying around has been taking up space, renting space in my head, and not even paying me. No benefit whatsoever to carrying that stuff around. In fact, it's the opposite. So I think it's great that you are thinking about getting counseling, KG. I really am looking forward to see how that goes for you. Yep, West Coast sisters. Mo says, I'm going to have to see a therapist too, KG. What a wonderful thing to do for yourself in 2024 to get connected with someone who is trained to be able to help. It can take time. It took a few different therapists for me to finally get connected with the right one. And I never had to end a relationship with my therapist. It just happened organically because one, her internship ended. So when I lived at the safe house, I worked with interns for the first two therapists and then finally started working with one who was licensed. Then I left the city that I was in to come to where I'm at now and started working with someone else. And I've been working with her for almost a year now. And what worked for me in terms of finding a therapist was calling my insurance and telling them, like, for me, I was looking for EMDR in particular at that point in my recovery. So I called my insurance and said, yo, I'm pretty sure I said yo to the person on the phone. I said, I'm looking for a therapist that is uh, well versed and certified or whatever I said to practice EMDR. And they looked it up and found three contacts for me to call, said if I needed more contacts to call them back. Well, I called everyone on that list. And it just so happened that I connected with the therapist that I now work with. And it was there was such a connection. It was like almost like a familial, which she now tells me to beware of the familial connections. But for the therapeutic relationship, she was the first one to actually connect with me. I left a few messages and I am so thankful that she was on that list. She's not even here in California where I live. She's in Hawaii and we telehealth. And I wasn't looking for that, but it actually works out really well. It saves me some commute time and I can meet in my comfortable space and then just already be home if I need to crash out after a session. Mo, you remind me of oh, Kimmy, before I get to your comment, Mo, Kimmy says, love you guys, gotta finish up at work and try to get my heart to stop pounding. I'll stop back when I'm home if you're still on. Kimmy, I hope you have a good rest of your shift and that you drive home safe. I don't know if I'll be here when you get done, but if we are, it'll be nice to see you again. Tammy C in the house. Yo, Tammy, nice to see you. Tammy C. We are talking about goals. So I'm about to share a story based on Slow Mo's comment. If you've got any goals for 2024, New Year's resolutions, I'm really enjoying seeing all the different things that people have come up with. I've shared a list of mine. I'll recap them before it's over. I'm not completely done sharing my list, but I'm glad you're here, Tammy. Thanks for dropping in. Okay, so Mo said, I want to comment on what Mo said. So Slow Mo says, yeah, I've swept way too many things under the rug all these years. Morrison, you remind me of this analogy that I came up with in when I was in AA. It's like we sweep all this stuff under the rug and then we invite company over to our house. And if we haven't taken the time to get the dustpan, lift back the rug, take the broom, get what's underneath there, it's like our company that we've invited over into our house is tripping all over the bumps in the carpet. And we can't even entertain our guests safely if we don't take out the garbage that we've swept underneath the rug. So I love that saying, that, or I love what you said, that you've swept too many things under the rug all these years. Great insight, Morrison. I think the longer we do that, the more bumps we have, the less company likes to come over to our house. And it's something that we can manage with the right support system. Tammy says, I don't have any. I just want my son to get help for his severe alcoholism and brain injury. Thanks for sharing that, Tammy. I think that supporting loved ones who have struggles that we can't necessarily relate to can be really hard. I think you're probably already aware. I don't know if it was you in that meeting I was in earlier that was talking about how you've gone to Al Anon for years. Was that you, Tammy, that was talking about Al Anon? Because that was my first thought. I personally don't have any firsthand experience of Al Anon. I've got experience in AA. Yeah, that was you. I hope that wasn't an overshare. I just remembered you talking about that. And I don't even know what to say, Tammy, about what you're going through. I'm just glad that you're sharing it with us. And I hope that you find some peace knowing that we're here with you and that you're welcome to come here and hang out. I also hope that your son gets some help. If he ever expresses a desire to want to get sober, Tammy, I think it would be awesome to have him be a part of this community. I think, though, that before that change talk starts happening, before they start expressing a desire, like I went through alcoholism and am in recovery now for almost 3 years. It's actually been over 3 years since I've had a drink, but my date is April 2nd because of marijuana. And I just think it would be wonderful if your son starts expressing change talk, like he wants to stop drinking, but just doesn't know how. It would be great to have him connect with us here in this community because we definitely know about addiction. Until that point, I think that a lot of us can relate to having loved ones. I mean, I have loved ones who are routinely in and out of recovery, and it's a really painful thing to watch. So you're in good company here, Tammy, and I'm glad that you stopped in and felt safe enough to share what you're going through. Thanks, Tammy. I just want you to know that we're here for you. Maddie, your biggest fan has returned. Welcome back, Maddie. It's always nice to see you. Mm. Tammy, I used to live on the street also in my car. I called it on the road. That was to me somehow better than living on the street. I wanted to get clean before I actually did. I think that until we want it, and I know you already know this, I just feel inspired to share a little bit about my journey and how I wanted to get clean a long time before I actually did. It took me years to realize that I had driven my life into the ground, and it's taken me years to get to the point where I'm at now. I really, really hope that your son comes around. I think it would be fantastic to be able to offer him support from a lived experience perspective. Until then, I'm glad you're here. Thanks for stopping in. If you're still here and listening to me comb through the comments, welcome. If I missed one of your comments, I apologize. I've been doing my best to keep up, and I've been oscillating between the live comments and where I left off. If you're still here and I missed a comment of yours, feel free to retype it. It's really important to me to get to everything, but it's not always possible. I do want to hydrate. I was about to go on another rant, but I need to hydrate with me. I made some tea also. I meant to take the lid off of it a long while ago. I also want to express some gratitude to everybody in the comments section today. We're all being so nice and cordial and respectful. There's no religion or politics being talked about, and I really appreciate that. As your host, it makes it a lot easier to be supportive to everybody in the comment section and to make this a safe space because we're all respecting each other's beliefs. So thank you for that. Tammy says, yes, I think he does. But he has said he doesn't want to be on the medication for help because he has to he has to medically detox. Okay. Hmm. That's a hard place to be. If he needs medical detox, but he doesn't want to do it, that's probably just perpetuating his addiction. Uh, there's a lot of people here who have gone through significant withdrawals, and it's not fun. It's not pretty. It's not cute. And it's totally understandable as to why he wouldn't want to go through that. I'm really sorry that you have to watch that. Thanks, Tammy. I like the vibe here too. It's nice to come together a couple times per week to share this space with some regulars. Sometimes it's new people, which I always love. I go live Mondays and Wednesdays. Have been getting better at having a topic every single week. I was improving there for a little while on Wednesdays, but I do better when I have a topic. And tonight, the topic is goals for 2024. I haven't quite got through all of mine yet, so I'm going to take this opportunity to share another goal. Let me see how hot my tea is, if it's too hot to drink. Oh yeah, it's definitely too hot. I just took the lid off. I'm gonna dump a little bit of it in this mug. It has a little bit of water left in it. Thanks for bearing with me. think I got to all the comments, but again, feel free to drop another comment if I did miss something. So, another one of my goals for this year, I'm so excited about. Honestly, though, I have been putting it off and I cannot wrap my head around why I've been putting this off because it's really important to me and I'm very excited about it. So this thing, kind of like Marky, I don't know if you're still here, friend, if you're studying in the background. I also am studying for a test. It's the peer support specialist state exam. It will give me the ability to bill Medi-Cal for my services. And I'm already certified as a peer support specialist. I passed my course back in August, but in order to bill Medi-Cal or Medicaid in general, because I will be able to bill out of state too, but I'm going to focus on California where I live first and go from there. Um, I can't start the process until I pass this test. So I'm able to provide peer support on a one-on-one basis right now for cash pay, but I'm not able to bill Medi-Cal and work with the people who, I mean, we all need peer support, right? I want a peer support specialist sometimes, but I don't know how to, I haven't figured out how to find what I'm looking for, a peer support specialist who is, the type of peer that I would want to work with, which I'm sure a lot of them exist for agencies, but I want an independent peer support specialist. And that's where I'm headed with this journey and peer support. So my goal for 2024, and I hope to achieve this goal in February at the latest. I'm thinking February is when I'm going to take and pass my exam. So hopefully uh, I'll be able to start billing soon for it and help people who don't have insurance or who are on Medicaid to provide them some peer support from my lived experience perspective. So that's another goal I have is to pass my peer support specialist test. Tammy, I'm glad you're here listening, friend. I do my best to make this like a video podcast. So bear with me when I scroll through the comments and I'm looking for anything that I missed. Yeah, Marky, we can be study buddies. 100%. Marky, remind me, when do you take your test? I'll see if I can schedule it the same day. Wouldn't that be something? Oh no, is it choppy? That's unfortunate. Sorry, Marky. Can you hear me when I say when's your test? I have two tests. Okay. Do you have dates for those two tests, Marky? Because if I can schedule my exam on the same day as one of your tests, I think that would just be amazing. I think your tests are in February, if I'm remembering correctly. Tammy, gonna watch on my TV now. Have a great night. Tammy, thanks for telling me that. That makes me a little, I'm like, oh no, don't get me on the TV. That'll mean I'm huge. But thank you for inviting me into your living space. It is a pleasure to be spending some time with you this evening. And an honor, really. I got to get comfortable with the idea of me being on a big screen, but thank you. January 5th. Oh, that's in just a couple days, Marky. That's exciting. And 16th, if I pass. Okay, it's January, so it's not February. Well, January 16th, I might be able to schedule my test on January 16th and just get it over with. But I do this ongoing peer support specialist training, and all of the topics are going to be new, refreshed topics for January. So I was wanting to give myself the opportunity to receive the additional 1 month of training and then go into February ready to take that test. So maybe it won't be on the same day, Marky. Okay, I feel like if I did miss anything, it's so far gone now that I wouldn't even be able to catch up with it. I hope Mike is okay. Mike, if you're still listening, I'm thinking about you, friend. I'm reviewing my notes now. I touched on this a little bit earlier, but I feel like for me, the most important thing that I work on or that I want to work on in 2024 is building healthy connection with people. And I know a couple people in the comments or that have been in this meeting tonight can relate to is wanting to build healthier connections. Kimmy mentioned that for herself, and I would love to support her if she wants my support in fostering, a friendship that's mutually beneficial. Uh, Connection, I try to remind myself, and we've talked about this too, but I'm going to reiterate because I think it is so important that connection is the opposite of addiction. And I'll say it in reverse: the opposite of addiction is connection. When I isolate, it makes me feel so much worse than when I send out a smoke signal in whatever way, shape, or form that might come out. Not literally a smoke signal, but a communication to somebody that could be my therapist, that could be a friend, it could be a family member, it could be starting with my journal. Sometimes my journal is my first point of contact, and I try to get out what I'm struggling with or what I'm going through so that I can understand what's going on. And then going to my therapist or going to a member of my support system is the next best action after reflecting myself. Because if I don't reflect myself, things are kind of scrambled and I'm disorganized about the way that I try to explain what's going on. So I think connection with oneself is a good starting point. And that's not to say that we can handle everything ourselves. I think we need other people's support in order to get through tough times. I do not believe that we can do it ourselves with just a journal. I've tried it before and it has always led me to falling back into substance use. It was not until I started reaching out to other people, therapists, people in similar clubs. Like I got clean and sober in AA, and that really helped me for a period of time. Now that I have moved on from AA for the time being, connecting with you all and other people in my support system is a fantastic way for me to work through challenges as they come up. So I know I've kind of harped on it tonight, but it's one of my favorite topics. I think it's one of the most important in recovery is that the opposite of addiction is connection. So if you have felt like isolating is what's best for you, you might very well be right in that moment. You might very well be needing some time to decompress and gather your thoughts. I want to encourage you, once you've refueled your tank to the point where you can engage with other people, to do that as soon as possible. Maybe you don't feel comfortable with anyone in your life. Maybe you want to come here and get a load off of your chest and share what you're going through with us. But I think the more the merrier in terms of the support system. I just wanted to share that. Kimmy, about to drive home. Tara, we are friends, but I'm absolutely down. I know we're friends, Kimmy. I just feel like, in terms of like getting to know each other better and supporting each other through the good times, through the bad times, I feel like there's a lot of potential for us to get to know each other better. So just know, like, no pressure, not everybody like has to be like close. I'm not trying to push a friendship on you. I just see such potential in a friendship with you. And I want you to know that I'm available for you. Thanks, Heather. It's one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites. And if I say it every single time that I'm live, it won't bother me because I think it's such an important phrase that connection is the opposite of addiction. I think it's so true. Same, KG. It is heartbreaking to see people that you care about hurt. I agree. Right on, Kimmy. Well, I'm looking forward to 2024. I think there's a lot of really positive things that I've seen, both on my list here and in the comments. I wrote a couple of notes and now I'm going back and I'm like, what did I mean by that? I wrote one of the things that I wrote was safe house. And I'm like, what was I going to share about this safe house exactly? For those of you who don't know, I in my early recovery, actually that's how I got started with recovery. Was I was placed in a safe house, from a crisis stabilization unit. I put myself on a 24-hour voluntary hold back on April 1st of 2021. I won't go into the traumatic details because I don't think that's helpful. We'll just say that I was living in my car. Some things happened that I might go into and share in a more general way, but some things happened that I started having dark thoughts and not knowing how I was going to move through the situation and stay alive. And so I checked myself in. I started getting really scared and I checked myself in to a crisis stabilization unit. They identified me as a labor exploitation survivor, is how I now view it, is that I survived that time in my life. They placed me at a safe house and I was required to be clean and sober in order to live there. They tested me every week and breathalyzed me every week. And that's how my sobriety started, was being there. So when I think about how far I've come as a function of just being clean and sober the past couple of years, it's kind of like, it kind of blows my mind away that I went through all of that and that I made it, and that I'm still clean and sober because I had no intention of maintaining my sobriety beyond the safe house. I was just getting clean and sober to stay safe, to get safe. But here we are, ringing in 2024 with a no alcohol challenge is pretty amazing to me. And I could have never imagined that all of these goals that are on my list that all of these things would seem achievable. Oh, I didn't share everything yet. I have like one of my favorite ones left to share. But I shared that story just as maybe it can help someone to know that just in a couple of years, I've been able to recover to the point where my life is finally starting to take form again. It's taken me almost 3 years to get things back on track. Even though my drugs of choice are more mild and with respect to some of the other drugs of choice or lifestyle choices that people have made, I know alcohol and marijuana are sometimes viewed as um, less difficult to kick. And I understand that perspective. For me, though, relatively speaking, it's been one of the hardest things, if not the hardest, that I've ever done in my life. I would say that my mental health recovery even trumps my substance use recovery. So if you're in early recovery and you haven't really given any thought um, to the mental health side of things, maybe you won't have to. You know, I'm not saying that a mental health recovery is on everyone's path. For me, though, it was, and it actually made a difference. Like, if you start, I want to share this experience too, because I feel like it would have been helpful for me to know that when I started struggling with my substance use recovery, it was actually a function of work that needed to be done on my mental health recovery. I didn't see a connection between the two of those for years. It's only as of recently that I've been like, oh, they're connected, but they're different. So thank God I have been taking my mental health seriously, uh, that I really focused on it in 2023, dug in, started to get well, because it, I think, has made a huge difference in the way that I view 2024 and what I'm going to be able to achieve as a function of the work that I did last year. Kimmy, you're flattered. That's so sweet. I appreciate you saying that. I feel the same way. Like, it would be an honor to build a friendship with you. She says there's literally not one parking space left on my entire complex. I got to park so far. I live in a downtown area and I park a half a mile away from my place every time I park. Unless I get here late at night, then I park close and move my car early in the morning. But Zach in the house. Hey, Zach, it's nice to see you. Thanks for rolling through, friend. We have been talking about goals, resolutions, whatever you want to call it. I'd be interested to hear what kind of goals you have set up for this year, if any. If you don't have any, that's cool. I support that too. I have gone through my list, my sort of compilation of goals that I've set for myself this year. I think I'm going to be able to accomplish them all. There's one goal left that I haven't shared yet, and it's probably my favorite one, and I almost missed it. I can't believe I almost missed it. That is, I feel like I should ask for a drum roll, please. Can I get a drum roll, please, for the last goal on my list? And then we might do a recap here. I'm just going to sip on my tea here real quick. Zach says, so good to see everyone in here. It's always good to see you too, Zach. All right, I guess my drum roll request was too cheesy. Thanks for calling me out. Thanks for calling me out. So, okay. My last goal that I haven't shared with you yet is that in 2024, I want to get back to surfing. It's super deep for me. There's a lot going on. It seems like it would be such an easy thing. I'm not far from the ocean, but I'm carrying, I'm just going to be honest with y'all, I'm carrying a lot of baggage still with me in terms of what I've experienced as a function of surfing. Um, I landed in a safe house because of some things that happened with some people I met out in the water. I don't think I've shared that before, but without going into the details, surfing is something that is so special and so valuable to me as just an activity that I can engage with and do for fun. And I've been avoiding it for almost 3 years. I haven't surfed a single time in my recovery. I think I'm getting close and I might need to run some EMDR. My therapist has mentioned that we could do some EMDR on this, but we've never actually gotten to it because there's always been other stuff that was more pressing to get to. But I think I'm ready to process, like, I'm ready to face what's holding me back here. Because I think when we face things that are hard for us, or things that we don't want to look at, things that we're like Morrison was talking about. I don't want to deal with this now, I'll deal with it later. I'll sweep it under the rug. I think real healing and progress happens when we stare those situations in the face and rally the appropriate support to help us process those things. In my case, it's going to be my therapist, and we're probably going to do some EMDR on what I experienced, and then do some reflection on how this isn't the first time that I've experienced something like that. I don't know how it's all going to go down, but I have a session scheduled with her tomorrow. So I'm going to make a note. It's actually terrifying and it makes me emotional. Like, it triggers emotion in me that I'm going to be dealing with this traumatic thing that happened, but I'm ready for it and it's worth it because it's not a surprise to me that this is the last thing that I would see on my list and that I almost missed it, even though it's probably the most important thing is that I get back in the water and get to surfing again. In the beginning of this, I said that work and the meaning and purpose was the most important. I think both of these things are equally important because the joy and the pleasure, the fun in life balances out the meaning and purpose, the work, the productivity. So, y'all, I want you to hold me accountable. And if you remember and care to ask next Monday or Wednesday, because I have these meetings on Wednesday too after Kevin's live, ask me how my therapy session went. And hopefully I can tell you that I'm ready to rip, or that it might take, sometimes my EMDR sessions take a couple of weeks. Like, we split it up in 2 sessions because it's just so much and so heavy. Um, but I would love it if you asked me how therapy goes and if I processed the surfing issue, because it's definitely on my list. And it's like the most important goal for me to get to this year. So I appreciate you holding space for me to share that with you. Super emotional for me, and I don't even really know why. I haven't had the courage to be able to face that one with my therapist, even though it's come up. We've talked about it. She's asked me if I wanted to do EMDR, and I somehow have weaseled my way out of it for almost a year now. I think I'm ready to deal with it. Morrison says, update, just had a full blown panic attack, jacked up heart rate, and tingling in my hands. Good thing I just remind myself this will pass. Yeah, Morrison, it definitely is temporary. It's not something to scoff at, though. It is a big deal. I'm sorry that I'm just seeing your comment. This was 5 minutes ago. I'm hoping that you are taking some deep breaths and grounding yourself. Focusing on an object really helps me. Keeping my mouth closed really helps me. Breathing through my nose and focusing on my elbow or my feet to get me out of my head for a few seconds while I breathe. Zach says surfing is so fun. I go over to Cocoa Beach, Florida from time to time. Right on. I've never surfed in Florida before, but I would love to sometime. Zach, do you surf often? KG, this is a good question. She wants to know if Morrison, if this is Morrison's first time around experiencing a panic attack. And Morrison, if you're able to tell us, I know it can be challenging in times like this, but is there anything that we can do to support you right now? Zach says, I'm not a surfer, but it's fun to use longboards. They seem much easier. Longboards, well, it depends. It depends what kind of wave you're on. Longboards can be way more difficult if the waves are bigger. But longboards can also be easier in bigger waves, especially if they're heavy. I have a custom 7.6. I love my surfboard. It was made just for me by someone who had just started their own surf shop, their own surf studio. I'm lucky enough to have one of his first boards, and um, it's really light though. I told him I wanted it to be really light because it's hard for me to carry big, bulky boards. So I've got a light, fun. It's not a fun board, but it is fun. It's a 7.6, and I love it. I can't wait to get on it again. Morrison says, thank you for that reminder, Tara. It's a pleasure, Morrison. I hope that it's helping. How are you feeling now? Is your heart rate a little more stable now? Is your breath, your breathing a little more regular? How's it going? Yeah, Slomo earlier had said this time has been way different. The war is different every single day. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? I think that's why it's so important to have not only a strong support system, but a big one, a very big, ever expanding support system. Ben says, wow, glad to hear EMDR is going good for you. Yeah, Ben, it's not something that I do every session with my therapist. In fact, we've only done it, I think, 4 times, maybe 5 times. I think we've had 5 EMDR sessions over the course of the year because there's certain criteria I believe that needs to be met. And if you know about EMDR, please feel free to share. I think at times I have been too unstable emotionally to be able to successfully and safely perform EMDR, to be able to reflect and get to the reprocessing step. Because, you have, well, if you don't know, you have to identify trigger emotions associated with the trigger. And then you go back to your earliest memory of that trigger and the same emotions, and have to really sit with some challenging stuff. But the therapist is trained to help you be able to cope with those emotions. And then you get to the fun part, which is the reframing, which is taking something that has caused discomfort and pain, to reframing it to be something that's positive. And it feels so satisfying to feel like, all right, I have, like Morrison was saying, I got this bump in the carpet, because I've been sweeping things under the rug for years. So what? It's like, look at the carpet. What do I have? Like 20 different piles that I've been running away from. But with each EMDR session for me, it's like sweeping up that pile, plopping it into the garbage can, taking out the garbage, and then my company can come over and I can hang with them, I can vibe with them, I can do things like build a stronger support system because my ability to connect with people is not hindered by the baggage that I've been carrying around with me, or as Morrison said, sweeping it under the rug. So thank you, Ben. I appreciate that. EMDR is going great for me. And I am nervous, like when I think about this session that I'm going to have tomorrow, I'm a little nervous about it, but I'm also very excited because I feel like I'm on the brink of really being able to not only accomplish my goals, but like really enjoy the journey, which that's priceless. Enjoying, it's one thing to get from point A to B, but like to enjoy the journey, money cannot buy that. Schoolboy Kai in the house. Hey, Schoolboy Kai, nice to see you here. Welcome. We've just spent 2 hours and 10 minutes talking about goals, resolutions. I shared all of mine, including the one that makes me feel the most vulnerable. I just got through that. I don't know if you caught any of that. People in the comments have been sharing a lot of their resolutions and goals. If you've got any resolutions and goals that you want to share as we kind of wind things down for the evening, feel free to do so. And I think we'll probably get ready to land the plane here soon. But I do want to say, if you have been here the whole time, thank you. If you've been here through parts and I skipped your comment, I really did try to get to everything. Feel free to drop another comment if I missed it and it's really important to you. If you don't have any resolutions, I'm open to hearing that too. Or if you need support with something that is not goal oriented and it's more about recovery or just something that you're going through in life, feel free to share that at this point too. There's still time. And I'll stay with y'all as long as there's stuff to be talking about. In terms of content that I have prepared for you though, I'm getting ready to land the plane, just as a heads up. Yeah, Ben, it's working really well for me. So much so that I'm nervous about tomorrow, but I'm also excited. You're welcome, Morrison. It's an absolute pleasure, friend. Morrison says, I used to have panic attacks a lot back when I did uppers. I appreciate all the support. Your calm voice helps, Tara. Well, I will do my best to keep it on the calm side. I think as we're gearing down to end this Monday session, it's nice to know that the calmness in my voice is bringing you some peace. So thank you for sharing that. It sounds like there's some pent up or hidden emotion coming up for you. And I am not a therapist. This is certainly not mental health advice, but I think the comment that you made earlier, Morrison, about connecting with a therapist, I mean, for me, it has been a game changer. I cannot imagine where I would be without her and with all the therapists. I feel so special when I talk about all my therapists that I've had. The truth is that it's been a long, winding journey, but it's been worth it because every goal that I have talked about tonight, I think I'm actually going to be able to accomplish. And I was not even thinking about goals this time last year. I was surviving. I was thinking, maybe I'll go back to using because it sounds like the easier, softer way, as AA calls it. But now that I've made it to almost 3 years, which no fronts, like I'm not trying to get credit for 3 years. I haven't made it there yet. And God willing, I do make it, but I haven't made it yet. I'm at 2.75 years right now. And I'm so glad in retrospect. I mean, it gives me goosebumps. Like, I'm so glad that I stuck it out and made the decision to focus on my mental health because, like, I'm to the point now where I'm where I wanted to be in the beginning of my recovery. I'm getting ready to start a job that I think will give me meaning and purpose, which is not something I could even comprehend when I was just starting my journey of recovering from work-related trauma. It's been a wild ride, y'all. It's been a wild ride, and I really hope to be sitting here with you this time next year when we reflect and talk about what's to come. I really hope, at the very least, that I can tell you my work was meaningful and I found purpose and that I caught some gnarly waves this year. It makes me so emotional. It's like so deep. I hope to not be crying about it next year when we have this conversation. I'm sharing this with you just so that you know I'm putting in some work right now. And I hope that helps someone. Ben says, yeah, it worked great for me. I think he's talking about the EMDR, but I already knew the target traumatic events. Since you're remote, I'm assuming you're using a bouncing ball. Ben, good question. Thanks for your question. We use a light. It's a horizontal light that she puts in the frame of the screen, and it goes back and forth. There's like two lights that light up at a time, and it just goes back and forth, back and forth. And then she stops it, covers it up as she helps me desensitize and reprocess. And then she turns it on when I need to do the eye movements. Yeah, I knew some of the target traumatic events, Ben, but some of them are being uncovered as a function of me working with her. And some of them I have identified, but I haven't had the courage to be able to face them, if that makes sense. So here we are. Awakened says, sorry I had to skip out, but I was able to talk with my oldest and it was great. I'll replay and I love what you're saying and doing. And I'll be back. Hugs and kisses. Awakened, I don't know if you're still here or not. This was a few minutes ago, but I'm so glad you dropped in tonight. I'm so glad you got to talk with your oldest. And I'll be looking forward to seeing you around. Schoolboy Kai, not a big resolution kind of guy, but I hope you get what you need to accomplish this year. Thanks, Schoolboy Kai. I really believe that I will. Ben says, it was nice to meet y'all. You're some good peeps here. I hope you crush it tomorrow. Slow-mo, I hope and pray you get victory over your battle. That's a really nice comment, Ben. Thanks for sharing that. And it was nice to meet you too. Schoolboy Kai, do you think you want to continue streaming in the future? Absolutely. It's bringing me so much pleasure. It gets my adrenaline pumping, which it is difficult to get my adrenaline pumping. And so that's why I climb and surf. And it it gets it going for me and it feels really good and healthy. And I get that same sort of little rush before I go on to live stream, and I just love that feeling. Maybe I'm an adrenaline junkie, but it feels nice. So, yes, I do plan on continuing to stream. I don't know if it's going to be Mondays and Wednesdays in perpetuity. It's definitely Monday is my day. I am here, I'm committed, which honestly, it's a little terrifying to be like, I'm committed, but I've done it for the past 5 or 6 weeks, I think. And I see all your little hearts coming in. Thank you for those. That means that gives me warm and fuzzies to see all the hearts coming through. Um, I'm definitely committed to Mondays at 4:15 coming on. I love the 4:15 time slot because 4:20 used to be like a religious ceremony to me. I would at 4:15 without fail in my addiction be twisting something up to smoke, and I don't have to live that way today. So I picked 4:15 as a symbolic time that because I'm in recovery, I'm able to show up for you and live stream every Monday, and it's an honor and a pleasure to be able to do that. Wednesdays, I feel like I can say confidently that I'm going to be showing up. But if someone else wants to live stream on Wednesdays, Wednesday, I'm open to sharing it. I do like it though. And if it's available, I like streaming on Wednesdays. I just don't schedule Wednesdays because I piggyback off of Kevin's live stream. And if somebody else wants to jump in, I would never want to like, I don't know, because I don't schedule it and I piggyback, it's kind of like a up in the air meeting. I kind of wish I could schedule it and just go on, but then at the same time, I want to give other people the option too if they want to piggyback off Kevin. So that was a long-winded answer. Leave it to me. I do I do plan on continuing to stream. Oh, KG said, "You're a warrior, Tara. So proud of you. Gives me hope." I appreciate that comment, KG. I think I passed it before, but I appreciate that. I think everyone in here is a warrior. Recovery is not for the faint of heart, and I think if you have the ability to even make it one day in recovery, that makes you a warrior. Awake Ned said, "You are an inspiration. Thank you for sharing part of you with us. Good to know we have more places now that are safe and positive to connect. Love it." It brings me so much joy to know that people feel like it's safe to come here and that they're comfortable coming here. So thank you for joining us, AwakeNet. It's a pleasure to see you here with us tonight, and I hope to be seeing you around. Tala, you got this, Tara. We're all proud of you, girl. Thank you. I appreciate all the support. I kind of fell apart there a little bit talking about surfing. But it's nice to know I have all your support. And now I've just made myself accountable so that if I don't get my butt back on my surfboard in 2024, right? That's what we're in now, 2024, that I'm going to have y'all to answer to. But I really do feel like it's manageable. It's manageable. It's feasible. I think I can handle it. Yeah, Slomo, that's a good comment. You're strong, KG. I'm proud of you. KG, you are strong, and I'm also proud of you. So you've got a team rooting for you right now. Still here, says Awake Ned. Thanks so much. I hope to be able to come around more often as well. That would be fantastic, Awake Ned. You're always welcome here. Awake Ned says, Ben the Dust Farter, you are such a doll. Never thought I would be so happy to see your gaseous reference as I am when I see your name. Thanks for lightening the mood there. I appreciate that. I started to get a little heavy with all the things that I need to work on. AwakeNet says, yep, even when I wasn't smoking back early in my recovery, I still had a clock set to 420, shaking my head. That's a great way to counter it. Yeah, it feels really satisfying that I don't have to be a slave to a substance anymore and that I can do something that's actually productive and that helps other people. I hope, anyways. I mean, when y'all tell me that it helps, I like to think that that's sincere and that showing up for y'all is mutually beneficial, which is exactly what I want to cultivate in 2020 is a plethora of mutually beneficial relationships. So thanks for that comment, AwakeNet. It feels nice that now at 4:15 I'm gearing up for a live stream instead of something else. AwakeNed says, or no, Ben actually said to AwakeNed, LOL, yeah, that name. I changed it as a joke and it's making me wait for like 6 days before I change it back. Oh my gosh, Ben, that's hilarious. So you have to wait for 6 days to get rid of that. Well, we're gonna let the jokes rip in the meantime. Uh-oh, it's glitching again. It seems like a lot of people are having glitching happening tonight, and I appreciate y'all bearing with me. I'm working with a signal that is a third of what YouTube recommends. I plan on getting a stronger signal sometime within the next few months. So bear with me while I work through the glitches. Thank you. Ben says there's a study that shows you are most like the 5 people you spend the most time with. That includes online. I could do a lot worse than become like you people. There's a lot of good people that hang out here, Ben, and thank you for sharing that comment. I did not know that it includes online. I thought that that was an in-person thing. This is inspirational to me. I think I need to be aware of who I'm spending my time with in 2024. That's a really good statistic. AwakeNed says, Ben, I remember I was on the live when you did it. That was fun. I think you're probably talking about Carol. I wish I could remember Carol's full channel name. I have been the past few days, Megan actually introduced me to this new channel that I've been frequenting. It's Carol. I think her last name is Herder, but she's got 2 other names in there, and I'm not recalling those names. Ish, Kimmy. If you're able, I don't know if you have access to the link, Carol's link that we went to with Megan the other day, but she does meetings every single day at 1:40, I believe it is. And that's just mind-boggling to me. What a commitment. What a great resource to have. I sent her an email today because I was like, I just want to connect with this person and I wanted to offer some support to somebody in her live stream. So I think that's what you're talking about, AwakeNed, in terms of remembering when Ben changed his name. Body doubling virtually, go catch those waves. Yes, yes, I will be catching some waves in 2024. I must. I feel like I'm gonna die if I don't do it. You know, like my soul Just going to get caught up in life, and it'll be something that I look back on and wonder what the heck I was waiting for, you know? Heather, I miss the shine I see in you, Tara. Stoked for you. Thanks, Heather. I appreciate that. Uh, I hope to I hope to have some shine to share in 2024. Well, okay, so Kimmy, I see you're awake, Ned, says Tara. Is that like my my Tucson? So Kimmy was saying Tucson Tuscan last night, but I think, is it awakened? Because isn't awakened awake, Ned? Awakened. Awakened. Oh, I think I am saying it wrong. That's a good one, Kimmy. Thanks for pointing that out. I think I was just reading it like wrong. I was reading it wrong. I think it is like your Tuscan. Actually, now that I'm reading it, awakened. Have I been saying your name wrong this whole time? Is it not awake Ned? It's awakened. Awakened. It's probably awakened. That's so funny. Okay, so Kimmy just posted Carol a link to Carol's channel. It's fantastic. I've gone a few times this past week when I've had time. Oh man, I'm never gonna live that one down. Okay, so it's sweet though. So I've been saying it wrong. Oh my god, it's awakened. Awake Ned. Oh my gosh, that's embarrassing. A lot of people say my name Tara, and it's endearing because my grandfather said my name Tara. It's actually Tara, like Sarah. But I mean, awake Ned compared to awakened, that's embarrassing. It's understandable that someone would call me Tara, but it's completely outlandish that someone would say awake Ned. And she thinks it's endearing, or this person thinks it's endearing. I think your name is Misha. Awakened. Oh my gosh, that's embarrassing. Thanks for sticking around as I butcher your name, Misha. Yeah, Misha. I'm really Misha, but I'm awakened as well. Appreciate Tara for taking the time and effort to say it. For sure, awakened. Thanks for being patient with me while I learn how to talk. LOL, Misha. I'm just being funny. I made a horrible faux pas with my pronunciation, so now I'm calling everyone else out. You can please call me out because I would have continued to say awake Ned in perpetuity had you not pointed it out. Girl, want to talk about glitches? I'm patient. If you want to see frustrated, just check out my flops. Work in progress, but we are worth it. I would love to see your flops. I flop on the regular. Do you have a channel, Misha? I'm gonna have to check it out if so. Ben says Carol Klingon Tar Header. And Kimmy posted that link. Great channel. Fantastic channel. Carol Kingon Tard Herder. Okay. Every day at 3:40 Central. That is 1:40 Pacific. And she is incredible. I agree. Awakened. Yeah, Ben says, Kimmy, you take care of yourself. I hope your mood has lifted or lifts soon. Kimmy says, I think when it's in caps, it's easier to see it differently, but it tickled me. I'm glad someone got a kick out of it. Mo says Tuscan. So we're 1 for 1 this year, Kimmy. Let's see who can have the most mispronunciations this year. Not that it's a race or anything, because obviously we want to say people's names right, but I'll remember Tuscan. I'm sure you'll remember awakened, awakened. Shine, says Misha. That's my word. Yes, I'm sold to this place now. And also, now I'm wondering if I've been spelling my own name wrong for the last 5 years. I don't think so, Misha. I'm pretty sure that I just don't know how to read anymore. I won't let you live it down. Now I don't feel so bad. Nobody's perfect, Kimmy. Nobody's perfect. And now it'll give us something to joke about. And laughter is the best medicine. Awake, Ned. Hey, Jason. Nice to see you, man. How are you doing? Welcome in. We have just spent the past 2.5 hours talking about goals. I have been butchering Misha's screen name. If you want to share your goals or resolutions, I am landing the plane, but I want to give everyone an opportunity that wants to share. So as we wind down here, please feel free to share what you're working on in 2024. I will do a recap for you of my list. Maybe that could serve as some inspiration if you're not quite sure what goals you might want to have. If you don't have any and that's your goal is to not have goals, that's sweet too. That was me last year. Yeah, Kimmy, now we can both go down in a mispronunciation infamy. I think it is pretty epic. I've been saying awakened now for a couple streams, I think. Or yeah, I think because I think Misha was here on Wednesday also. We do all have our moments. Kimmy can't stop laughing. I'm so happy to tickle you, Kimmy. And Kimmy needed it badly. Good. Good. Now KG's laughing. Now everybody's laughing at me, but I can live with it. I can live with it. I might have to talk with my therapist about it tomorrow. But if I did that, I wouldn't be talking about surfing, and that's what I actually want to talk about. So I think I can accept that I'm not perfect and that I butchered Misha's name like Fubar beyond all recognition. I can let it go. Thank you for forgiving me, Misha, and not bailing on me. Jason, are you from Oklahoma? If so, what's up? Says Awake Ned. Can I just call you Awake Ned? I'm joking, Misha. I won't call you Awake Ned. I might, by mistake, it might be programmed into my head now. Jason's in Texas. Just for clarity, I miss you, Misha. I'm an old woman, so there you go. You're a lovely woman, Misha. I flop a lot. I'm there for others to not feel so bad while building their channels. Well, you're in the right place because I am humbly building this channel. I still am wondering, just for clarity, I'm still wondering, I'm going to have to see if Awake Ned, Miss Misha, has a channel. Awake Ned by the Looking Glass. Reflection. Mm-hmm. Jason says, hi, Tara. I'm well. I can't tell you How good it is to see you on here. I'm so glad you're here to join us, Jason. I've been going for 2.5 hours already, so definitely winding down. But I promised a goals for 2024 recap, and I want to get through the comments. Now they're getting away from me again. I'm doing the best that I can. Maybe we'll be here for 3 hours today while I get through all this. We'll see. Awakened. I have a blast, or I have a best. I have a blast. I'm really, really struggling to read tonight. Let me see if my tea is. Your comment is cracking me up, Misha. I have a best cousin on my ex-monster side, and that's his name also. I was ready to blow up the chat talking to you. His name's Jason. Heather says, my hamster got off the wheel in my head. Another day clear. Thanks for everyone's support being here. I'm so glad that it helped, Heather. Really is nice to see you here. Ooh, Jason's working on being a year-round mountain guide. That sounds like a lot of fun. I would love to be able to incorporate adventure into my peer support. I would really, in 2024, like to build up a independent peer support business. I don't plan on executing, but I like the idea of incorporating, like I said, adventure, like hiring a guide to do adventure type things for people in recovery. So Jason, I might be reaching out to you at one point to arrange some guiding with me and a small group someday, if you're open to it. Kimmy, I felt so dumb. At least I could have said it was how it was spelled, Tucson, rather than Tuscan. So a lot of people in Phoenix do call it Tucson for fun. So you would have sounded like a real Phoenix local if you said Tucson. We know it's really Tucson, but a lot of, like, I went to high school in Arizona, and so a lot of us called it Tucson. Awakened, Misha says, Kimmy, I adore you both, and Tara. So glad you guys found Carol's channel, and to find Ben, the dust farter Turner, here as well. And Ben says, wow, Jason. Oh no, I lost my spot again. Yay, Misha. Lord Kiss Freak is back. Right on, Lord Kiss Freak. We are chilling here. I did make it through my entire list, but as we wind down and land the plane here, I'm going to be going through my list one more time for you. I just want to get through these comments so as not to leave anybody hanging. And before you know it, we might be at 3 hours again if I keep going at this rate. So let me see what we got here. Tuscan, yo, says Morrison. I try to pop in when I can and support other channels when they deserve it. Misha, it's so glad to have your company here. I'm glad you feel comfortable. You definitely fit in around here. And now after butchering your name, I feel like I've got to make it up to you somehow. It looks like Awake Ned. Awake Ned. I'm a spelling bee champ too. Awakened says, you are so welcome. Wait till you see my name. Misha is a little different too. You can call me anything you like as long as it isn't bad. Even then, if I earned it, we're all good. Right on. Thanks for being so understanding, Misha. I appreciate you. I thought you were going to say, call me anything you want, just don't call me late for dinner. Kimmy just checked. She does. Oh, I just checked if she has a channel. Right on. If someone wants to post a link to Awake Ned's channel, Misha, Miss Awakened by the Looking Glass, it would be really cool. I actually haven't been to this channel, so I'm taking it as a leap of faith. but your presence, your the vibe that I get from you makes me think that I would feel comfortable plugging your channel. So if there's a mod in here who has the time and the bandwidth to post a link to Misha's channel, that would be awesome. Ben says, would it be a bad goal to want to fill pinatas full of refried beans and launch them into a trebuchet? Did I say that? Launch them with a trebuchet? Is that like a slingshot? That might be a super villain goal. Ben, that's very creative of you. Creativity is a strength, you know? Would it be a bad goal? I guess that depends who you're launching them at, and what your intention is there. But if it's all in good fun, then I say let it rip. John Mendoza in the house. Welcome, John. You made it at just the right time. We are on the descent here, just landing this plane. I promised that I would go through my list of goals one more time in no particular order. So I'm finally caught up in the comments. I've got a few here, and then we will do that wind down exercise. If you've got some goals that you'd like to share, if you just joined, I'm so glad you're here. Feel free to tell us exactly what your resolution, what your goal is for 2024, and I will share my list as a recap for those of you who are just joining. Misha says, that dang hamster keeps getting flung off the wheel in my noggin too. Sigh, gotta get a better wheel. Jason, yes, Tara, let's please let's go adventure. I'm totally down to go adventure. You know I'm down to adventure. I've got enough recovery under my belt now too, where I am excited to embark on clean and sober adventures. I'll be a better partner too, I'll be more present. Oh, you're trying to say Tucson. Exactly. Yeah, Kimmy had her moment last night. I'm having mine tonight. We're just two peas in a pod. Misha says, Miss Dragon, she's part of the crew and in Washington. She'd be perfect to talk with about hiking and guides. Miss Dragon. I'm going to write her down. Kimmy was thinking of Tuscany. I don't have an excuse. I don't have an excuse at all. I was just straight up thinking it was Awake Ned. You made me famous. You are famous. You're famous on this channel now. You will forever go down as Awake Ned, Misha. Really nothing to speak of at the moment. Literally just a bunch of self-venting. I can relate to that. I've got a lot of venting on my channel too. A lot of talking about ketamine at this point. In 2024, I'd like to put up a lot more substance misuse content. But I can relate to feeling like I'm venting on my channel. Morrison, my goal this week, get a therapist, go to in-person recovery meetings, and find a support group. Right on, Morrison. That's a great goal. I'm really proud of you that you are putting the goals in motion will make it possible for you to achieve. All these things are very manageable. Finding a therapist, that could take time, but you could absolutely start the process this week. And you might even get lucky and strike gold with the first therapist. I'll be praying for you, Mo. Ben, seriously, only real goal is working on health. Liver took a dump with weed killer exposure through I thought you were talking about marijuana for a second. Liver took a dump with weed killer exposure through my skin, as well as black mold exposure. Yikes. I'm glad you're here with us, Ben. Okay, Lord Kiss Freak likes Miss too. I gotta check this person out. Oh, John wants to know, did I ever do research on Saturnalia and Sol Invictus? I did not, John. Self-admittedly, I did not. Not that I'm against it. I haven't got to it yet. Jason is stoked. Talk to you soon. Sounds good, Jason. Thanks for stopping in. Kimmy said that's a really good idea. Misha, that's my girl, Miss Dragon. Ben, wow, that's pretty good and that's a pretty good healthy goal. I agree, Morrison. Heather, once the hamster is off in my head, the wheel slows down. Not as many racing thoughts or cravings. Yeah, that's why I put meditation on my list as we get ready to visit it here. Slow that hamster wheel down. It really helps make life more manageable and enjoyable. John says, Tara, if you get a chance, look up Gematria Effect News 25. He dropped a video about Sol Invictus last Monday. He knows his research. It'll awaken you even more. Gematria Effect News. I'm open. Thanks for that, John. I appreciate you. His name is Zachary Hubbard. Is that the Roman sun god? I've got 2 phones going. I'm a mod for Mark. Wages is live. Someone's live. That's a perfect time for me to wind down. But I want to deliver on my promise to you. Buckle up your seatbelts as we prepare for landing. In 2024, my goals are, and I hope that you will all keep me accountable to doing work that brings me meaning and purpose, to finding another place to live, a 1-bedroom or a studio. I'm in a studio now, but I want to move into a better fit for me. To build up my support system in a balanced way where we're both offering and receiving support in a balanced manner. 1 more year of recovery. I will not be drinking in 2024. I think it's safe to say that I will abstain from all drugs and alcohol in 2024, unless it's prescribed, like my ketamine treatment. But 1 more year in recovery in 2024. I will be passing my peer support specialist test. I will be incorporating meditation and prayer into my daily routine. Practicing self-care. I borrowed that one from Kimmy. Practicing good self-care. And finally, but certainly not leastly, I will be surfing. And something I didn't go into is strength training. I would like to start, there's a strength training class at the gym that I'm a member of, and I would really like to start engaging with strength training. And I forgot to mention that because I got so wound up about talking about surfing and that whole thing that I need to unwind. So that is my list. Let me see what just happened in the comments while I was recapping. Misha says, thanks for coming through, Miss Dragon. Oh, Miss Dragon is here. I didn't even realize. I thought they were just talking about Miss Dragon. Hey, Miss Dragon, nice to see you. Welcome. I think maybe you just saw my recap. We've been talking about goals and resolutions. I'm glad that you made it. We are just winding down here, but if you've got, as we wind down, any goals or resolutions, they've been talking, Misha and Ben have been talking all kinds of sugar about you. So thanks for rolling through. It took me a second to realize that you're the one who said, I've got 2 phones going. I'm a mod for Mark. Wages is live. I didn't even realize that was you. I thought that was carryover from Ben. Anyways, Miss Dragon, I'm so glad you decided to join us. I don't know if I just thought it or if I said it, Miss Dragon, but feel free to let us know if you've got any goals or resolutions for this year that you're working on. Or if you don't have any, I can relate. That was me last year. And now I think I might have too many. When I started making this list, I was like, oh, I've only got a few things to talk about tonight. But then uh, as the day unfolded, I just kept adding and adding. Yeah, the qualifier, good self-care. Exactly, Kimmy. Proper comma usage is so tedious. Proper pronunciation is also something that I need to work on. Apparently, it's something that I could really benefit from, is really paying attention to the way that I pronounce names. Misha says, of course, Miss Dragon and Tara. Those are very impressive goals. Uh, I look forward to congratulating you next year. I would be so psyched if, like, this is in my journal now. So, like, I would be so psyched if I actually accomplish these goals. I might need to make them into SMART goals. I might, like, put on my astute hat, you know, my diligence hat, and make these into SMART goals so I can really hold myself in progress. Oops. That would be probably something that I might actually do. And I appreciate the encouragement, Misha. Thanks. Thanks for offering encouragement, even though I butchered your name. Kimmy says, yeah, Ben. Yeah, Ben, I used to be very anal about grammar, but decided I don't care in these formats. I'm not writing a dissertation here. Nope, me either. Me either, Kimmy, and I'm certainly not giving a dissertation. So that's a good call. Nobody is asking us to be perfect here. We're just doing the best we can. Embrace it. It can be your villain superpower. And John, I'm just going to listen to my body, just like how I started this water fast 3 weeks ago. Dang, John, you haven't eaten for 3 weeks. That's like next level warrior stuff right there. Kimmy's Playhouse. Yeah, for some reason my typing has gone to pot. I think it's from joints logging up in my fingers. Maybe it's just my brain. Whatever it is, I'm just trying to deal with it. And can't we all relate? We're all just doing the best we can with what we've got. Water fast for that long? Exactly. Then I blame the autocorrect. Well, if you just came in, we are humbly getting ready to land the plane here. I do want to give you one last opportunity to share your goals, any resolutions that you've got for this year. I have shared a plethora of goals and resolutions for this year. It might be too many, but I think that it's all manageable. Oh, one thing I didn't mention in my recap, I forgot, it was at the top of my list, is I've always wanted to read the Bible from cover to cover. I'm not religious, but I was raised with it and I've never actually read it. So that's one of my goals also, is to participate in Morrison's Bible study this year. I really would like to be able to make my own decisions and interpretation about the book. Again, this isn't a religious channel. I'm certainly not giving advice, not even sharing my perspective on how I think things are, but it is on my goal list. Dissertation on Tuscan. Ben says, I blame my parents for all the love and affection. John, I eat at night. During the day, just water and coffee. Okay, so you are eating, Ben. I thought you hadn't eaten for 3 weeks. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. All right, everyone. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure. I'm really enjoying these live streams since I started them about 5 weeks ago. I will be here next Monday, same damn time, same damn place, 4:15 Pacific Standard Time. I don't know what the topic is going to be yet. I like to think about it after I get off. I'm going to schedule it right after I get off of this stream, and it usually just comes to me. Like, I don't plan it. It normally just comes to me. If I can't think of a topic, I'll put a placeholder in there and tell you next week what we're talking about. I will be here on Wednesday, God willing, and the creek don't rise. I'll be here Wednesday around the same time. I talked a little bit already about how Wednesdays are fluid. Mondays, 4:15 on the dot. Wednesdays, it's a little fluid because I follow up Kick and Addiction. I piggyback. He's come up with that phrase, piggyback. And I like that description. It's accurate. Whatever time he ends his stream, I give it 2 or so minutes for people to, get snacks, go to the bathroom, short commercial break before I go live, sometime between 4:15 and 4:45, usually on Wednesdays. So that being said, it looks like a comment came through. Let me see what Misha said here. Oh, Mo said, of course, I forgot. Read entire Bible in 2024. Exactly. Yep. Thank you for sharing your goals and positive vibes, Tara. I'm heading out. Great chat, y'all. Does an old woman heart good to see and hear younger generations talk the Bible? Absolutely, Misha. I don't know if you're still here or not, but I'm sure if you wanted to join the Bible study, that there would be a place for you in the meeting. So let us know if that's something that you want to participate in. KG says, love you long time, Tara. I love you long time too, KG. Always nice to see you. Heather saying, thanks so much, Tara. Thanks everyone for being here. Kimmy said, oh, hope everyone has a great night. Mo, that's my favorite saying, Tara, God willing and the creek don't rise. I learned that one from someone in AA, actually. I liked it too. Don't forget to hit the like if you haven't already. Thank you so much, Kimmy. So with that, I like saying at the end, it has been a pleasure talking with you as always. Lord Kiss Freak says, make it a great night, everyone. I love you all so very much. I really appreciate you showing up here and spending some time with me. And until Wednesday, around the same time, I hope to talk to you soon.